Okay, for today's class, what I will be teaching is a methodology that is used by Vray. Okay, so as to get a really good enhanced render, which is normally used when if you are doing some sort of computational works. Okay, if you're doing computational renders and stuffs, how you could basically use it. Okay, for that we normally use a methodology known as maps, or we take in render elements in it and then we take it to Photoshop so as to create a post production of the image that we have. Cool. We will also try to see how we could edit a specific element in the image. For example, if you have a mat, okay, in the image, and we just need to only edit that, we just need to do some color correction or so in that, then how we are going to do. So that is what we will learn today. So it is like a combination of V-Ray plus Photoshop that is going to happen today. Okay, I'm just going to the SketchUp screen. This is the model that we were working on for the previous classes. So I'm just go opening the asset editor. Okay, I just opened the asset editor. Now I am just going to the settings, going to Cuba, just changing this to C plus. Both I'm just owning both the graphics card, changing the render output to less than 1000, and just keeping the safe frame on as we normally do. Okay, these are basically the basic settings that we do, and just turning on the interactive mode as well so as to get the test renders. Cool. Then I'm just giving a test render and checking whether the image is good or not. Okay, I just need to turn on the lights, so I'm just turning on the lights as well for now. Okay, cool. So I just turned on the lights and checked. Okay, fine. Now my render is fine. Now what to do is I just need to go for a competition. For that, how I will take the image. Normally, how we are going to save? We are going to save from here. Just save the current channel and just get it. But when you are doing for something like our competition or so, we need to basically export all the images as some layers. Like we need shadow as separate, we need the lighting separate, we need the texture separate, so that you can adjust these stuffs and create a render of higher quality. Okay, for that, how we can do that is what we are going to discuss for today's class. For that, first thing that you guys need to do is, you guys can see that the fourth one out here just has something known as a render element. Okay, so just note down the stuffs that I'm gonna take from this. If you left click it, okay, first time you need to left click it, then you see that a lot of stuffs comes about. In this you need to select render id. Okay, first thing is that, then go for right clicking. The second time it will be right clicking, then you need to select lighting. Okay, now if you go to render element and check the right side of it, you can see there is nothing. But lighting, when I go, there is something known as denoise. Okay, so denoise, if you need to keep it on, or you need to check it. The reason is that denoise is a sort of a correction that is done on your file, so that you don't get sort of a blurring or a sort of a small there will be, if you are normally using a image, the problem is that the image will have some blurriness, or there will be no uh, uh, proper sharpness of the image. Okay, for that to get a correction, we basically turns on this denoise. Now again you go to the render element, left right click it, and then take something known as reflection. Okay, take that on the denoise on the side, then again go to render element and take something known as shadow. There will be shadow option out here. Take that on the denoise, then again one more time take it and open. There is an option known as extra textures. Okay, extra textures on it. Okay, so this much needs to be taken out. Okay, these are basically layers that are of different different substances like lighting, reflection, and so so that we need to adjust it in Photoshop so as to create a better element. Now when you come to extra textures, you can see that there is no denoise here, but we need to add something here. That is, you need to select the texture slot. If you click on it, you will see there's something coming up like this. Don't click the bitmap as we were doing in the previous, but you need to go down, go and select something known as dirt. Okay, when you select dirt, you will come to such an interface. Just go back to with the help of select previous asset. Okay, now you can see the texture has been turned on as dirt. This much needs to be done, okay, before you are gonna export a image or render the image. Then this much is clear for everyone. I'll tell you why this is done. Okay, I already told you why this is done, but I'll show you how this could be done more better. Okay, and then if I'm going now, I'm going to settings. From here, I am offing it into the progressive render, owning the progressive render. Progressive render means I'm going to have the final render. I'm just increasing it to 1000. 1000 is a really small number. If you want a proper render, go for 2000, 2K, 4K or more, 9K, everything can be done. So that are really good sharp images. You will not get a pixelated one. Now, if you could see that it is pixelating, but the higher quality means that it will have better sharpness and better thing, and keep this higher quality. Okay, keep this to full H++, but now I'm just keeping it to medium so that the render happens faster, so as to show. Okay, then keep it full, and then you need to click on the final render. Okay, option out here, you can see that it is coming, and on this there is a small box out here, you can click on it. Okay, you can see that this will start coming up. When it reaches 100, there will be a green tick that is coming up, which means your render is finally completed. Cool, that is the meaning of that. When it comes full 100, that means it is complete, and then we can basically export it. According to your graphics card, this may happen, or a graphics card, the speed of this render happens. Cool, so now it is 100. So what I need to do now is that I need to save some stuffs. That is, coming to the V-Ray frame buffer, you can see that there are now in this option, in this drop menu, there are options like RGB, extract texture, lighting, reflection, render ID, and shadow. Okay, so you need to save each of this into a folder in your desktop or anywhere wherever you like. So for that, first thing what I'm going to do is I am selecting RGB color, going to the save current channel, going now I'm going to save it in my desktop. For that, I'm just selecting my desktop. I am creating a new folder by clicking this side, and then I'm just typing it as an image, and then I'm double clicking it, going inside, and first file I am renaming it as RGB. Got it? And I am saving it. Okay, then second thing is that you need to take extra textures. That is, you just need to select it. You can see something like this comes up. Okay, now you don't need to render it again. You don't need to do that. You just need to just save the current channel from here, and you can just write you can just type extra channel and then save it. Okay, similarly you need to save lighting, save it. You can write lighting, save it. Again, you need to select a reflection, and you can save this. Similarly, you can select render ID, you can save this. And the last, that is the shadows. Select shadows, and then you can save this. Cool. So this much needs to be done. This is what is V-Ray's part. Now whatever is gonna happen is on Photoshop. Cool. So this much everything is clear for everyone. Okay, cool. So I'll move forward. I'm just offing this. I'm just not saving, no problem. Just going and opening my Photoshop. Okay. Now this is the interface that you comes across when you open the Photoshop. If you are opening a new, sometimes if you are in the higher version of Photoshop, you will come across a template where in which there will be open new or open, there will be some sheet sizes and so on to be measured. Just close everything. You will just come to this interface back. Okay. This is just a primary interface with no page or so. We just need such a interface to come about. And then what you guys need to do is go to your file where you have saved, okay, the renders. So now I have basically kept all these are the basically the images that has been saved: the shadows, the RGB, the render ID, reflection, lighting, and extra channel. So what you need to do is you can drag and drop it here if you are using Windows 10. Okay, drag and drop is possible out in Windows 10. If you are having a problem with drag and drop in Windows 11, it is not there. Go to file, just go place. You can basically do a place out here. Then you can also do select the file from your required location as well. Okay, if you are using like Windows 11 drag and drop option is not there. In Windows 10 it is there. Okay, so now I have basically come to I have basically placed my RGB image out here. Now I am going back and I am going to extra channel. I am dragging and dropping it here. Now you can see that a image gets superimposed on top of my the RGB file, so that you can see that out here there is a layer 0, there is a extra channel. Okay, now what you need to do is tick here. There is a tick mark out that is be coming up. Just click the tick so that you see that the image is being kept on top of it. Okay, now you need to merge these two layers. Cool. For that, what you need to do is there is a option here, okay, known as a blend mode. This is known as a blend mode. Out here it is in normal. So you can see that if you drop the menu down, you can see there are lot many options known as color burn, linear burn, dark color, multiply, darken, light screen. So if you could select each and check, okay, you can see that these are basically giving some things. Like if I'm using multiply, you can see there is some color change. You can see if I'm using burn, again something happens. So I felt that the burn looks okay now, okay, on this. Now what you need to do is go to opacity and adjust it such that the so that the layer becomes little more realistic. So you need to play with this blend mode and you need to play with the opacity, okay, so as to create a really good blend, okay, of these two. Now I just selected this. I just put soft light, okay, and just change the opacity to 31. Cool. If you could see that if I'm offing this layer, you can see what has happened. Okay, while owning this, it basically gave some depth to the image. Okay, that is what the extra channel has done. Cool. This is extra texture. There is a small correction. You can double click it and basically change. You can rename the layer as well. Just taking extra texture and double clicking this and also renaming this as RGB. Okay, so this is what you have to do. Then now I will import the reflection lighting out here. Okay, lighting, I'll just take drag and drop it again on top of this. Again I will tick on it, select. I will just put something that is, I'll put screen now. Okay, you can see that it is a little more darker. Just reduce it with the help of opacity. There is no compulsory that you should use screen or you need to use anything of that sort. Okay, you can basically use anything, but you can basically check. Okay, you can check with any of this. These are blend modes. You can basically your inner gut should basically feel that this is better or this is better, and then you need to change the opacity and play. Okay, so as to get the render output. Cool. So that is what you need to do. Then I will again import the reflection, okay, onto this. On top I will keep, then again I'll press click, then I'll just go, I'll just soft light and then change the opacity a little. Okay, cool. This looks fine. Okay, cool. And then I will use the last one that sorry the last option, that is a shadow. I'll import that next and keep it on top. You can see that in shadow is basically using the reverse technique. Okay, wherever shadow is there, that will be light. Wherever shadow is not there, it will be dark. Okay, it is an inverted image. If you could see it properly, you can see wherever shadow comes, that is light, and wherever shadow is not there, that is dark. Okay, that is what this shadow is doing. It is not that shadow is having the layer that is having the shadow, but it is a reverse. Okay, then you just need to blend it. You can either use multiply or you can use whatever, whichever you feel is okay. Overlay. Okay, I'll use overlay and just change the opacity a little. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. Now, if you could see that if I turn off everything, you will see this is the file that we had. If you was having, you normally use the render that we are using, that is RGB. Okay, if you are only using RGB, this will be the output. But when I add everything and see, now you could see that there is some sort of realism that is coming, which is much better. You can play with the opacity as well as the overlay so as to get much better results. Okay, you can just give some changes in this and so. Okay, these are basically the 5 things that needs to be adjusted along with the blend mode as well as the opacity so as to get some more realism in your image. Cool. So that is what is about the maps. These things are also, these render elements are also known as maps. These things are known as basically maps. Okay, now one more thing was there which I missed, that is known as a render id. I'll tell you what is a render id in the next within few minutes. I'm just importing this render id as well on top of this. Okay, and I am just clicking, I'm just giving it a okay. But I am not gonna turn this on. I'm not gonna change the opacity or the blend mode onto this file, because render ID is used so as to pick a image or pick a normal a piece or so as to change, or if you want to edit a specific element. Basically, render ID is used. I'll show that what it is used for in a few minutes. Now what you need to do is just with the eye out here. Okay, you just need to turn it off so that you see the image that we have basically created. Okay, so this much needs to be done. Now we so till this much, any doubts to anyone? No doubts. Okay, cool. I'll go further. Now we will see how we could edit a single element like a mat. Out here we have a mat out here, right? So we just need to edit the map. So if for editing any or for to select anything, normally we use a tool known as magic wand. You can see the fourth tool out here. This tool is really interesting and really helpful, but the thing is that this itself is a magic tool. Okay, this itself is a magic, because when you select it, and if you are go to the RGB file and then if you select, you can see there is a problem, because it will not select the required require part. Basically it will select all sort of unwanted areas or so. For this not to happen, we use the render id. Okay, I am going to render id now and turning this on and then selecting. You can see now you are getting selecting the map within no time. So this is what is the render id's use. If you have any place which is not being selected, what you can do is press shift and again use the again click on the place so as to select the all the substance or all the parts of the floor mat that is being used. Cool. And then now I am going to RGB. Okay, sorry. Okay, now I am going to RGB. Okay, and then turning off this layer by viewing, and you can see that it now selects the mat that we have. Okay, now what you need to do is you can either make it into a new layer, or you can move this entire thing, cut it into a new layer, or you can copy the same to a new layer. Okay, for that what you need to do is right click it, and you will see there is an option known as layer via copy or layer via cut. Okay, you can use any. Okay, it's according to you. Now I am just using layer via cut. Okay, you can see that if I'm turning off all the other layers, you can see that you have the matte that is separately cut from the RGB file. Okay, now you need to adjust the levels and the levels, or you need to adjust the curves of this element, of this element. So what you need to do is there is an option known as brightness or contrast. Okay, so normally there's a short command as well which I normally use. You can just click Ctrl L. You can see that such a box appears wherein which you can adjust the part so as to increase the contrasty, or for increasing the darkness of it, or so lightness, or so you can basically do it with here and just give okay. This is the levels, and Control M if you press, you will come to curves, wherein which you can adjust the curves. You can change, you can also change the red color curves as well. You can basically increase the red colors onto your texture, or the green, and as well as the blue, so as to get a really good finish. Okay, then just give okay. Now if you on all the layers that you have, you can see that if I'm turning off this layer, you can see it is now vanished. Okay, so if you basically added a sort of a small textural change to only the matte now. So this is what you could do with the help of render id. Cool. Once you have basically come to a position wherein which you are satisfied with the level of mergings and the sort of editing of a single element or so, with the help of render id, shadows, everything, you can merge the layers, okay, into a single layer. You can just press shift, select all the layers, and then there is a just left click it, sorry, right click it, and there is an option known as merge layers. Okay, if you merge the layers, it will become a single layer. Now you can reselect it and add something like, you can type it as render, we render. Cool, so that you will get this as a single image. And then what you can do is you can again give entire this thing a brightness correction, or for the entire thing you can again change the levels, you can change the curves. For example, I'm just clicking on it. Okay, you will see there is an option brightness coming about. You can basically give the brightness, you can increase the contrast or decrease it according to your wish, like how you basically do for Instagram filters and stuff. Similarly you can play with it. Okay, and check again, you can use something known as the levels. Again, I'm just using it so that you can basically give it, again the curves are there, you can again use that and play with it so as to give a little more effect to it. You can also use the color balance so as to give it a cyan touch or a magenta touch also, so for your image as well, so that this comes to your way of using it. Okay, and then you can again merge these layers, or you can basically keep it like how you want. Fine. So this is what, this is the post production of your image that you already made, just a RGB file to a image like this. Now in the higher versions of Photoshop, if you go to filter, you just select the render, the layer that you want, go to filter. You can also have something known as camera roll. Okay, wherein which you would be able to again change the saturation level, the hue level, and stuffs like that. And again you can do some color corrections and so on with that option as well in camera roll. Okay, and one more thing is that you can again change, you can come to filter, there's also known as filter gallery. If I click filter gallery, I'll come to such a interface wherein which you can give the charcoal effect, the artistic brush effects, okay, that you want. There is also option like brush strokes and stuffs like that. I'm not using it, I'm just showing you that you can use it, or if you want. Basically for renders I don't suggest it. If you are having some other thing, you can basically use it. It's not that good effective, but I'm just showing it. Then again in filter, there is one more option, that is adaptive wide angle. This basically helps you in correcting your angle of views. Okay, if you could see that, this basically helps in distorting it and basically creating a sort of uh, just changing your vision view. Like if it is in the fish eye view, it basically helps you basically to change it a little, the perspective, the way you are seeing the focal length and so on. Okay, so that this helps in a manner, just need for you to just change the aperture of your stuffs, the view angles and chord stuffs in that. And also there is an option known as lens correction. This is helpful if you guys are using this as a image manner so as to correct stuffs, then you can use this lens correction. Because this lens correction, you can see there is an option from here where you are using a Canon or a Apple or whichever you are using. You can basically see that you can know that the some people have that lens. There is like 10 mm lens, there is 20 mm lens and so on. If you click on 10 mm and 12, you can see that there is a small change, okay, happening according to the lens mode out here. So you can also do that if you require. I'm just giving cancel now for, because I'm not interested in just changing anything. Just I'm just showing you that these are possible. Okay, if you guys want, you guys can try it. So this much was that which I wanted you guys to be taught. Now I'll just tell you one more thing, that you need to how to save the file. You can go to files, you can just go to save as or save. You can press save. As the first time, you will basically see such an interface. You can save it as a Photoshop image, or you can save it as a JPEG or a PNG. Now I'm just using PNG, and then I'm going to this thing, and I'm saving it as finished render, finished work, and just saving it. Okay, so it will take a time and then render it. So now you could see that what is the difference about the two renders. This is the one without any post production, this is the one with post production. Okay, so you can see the difference by yourself, that how much effective was it, how much less effective was it. Okay, now you could see that the realism on the image is basically comes after the effect of Photoshop onto it. Okay, this is only required if you are doing some competition works or so as to get such a quality ones. Okay, you guys can try more, because I just did it very fast. Okay, that's why it is not that good according to me. It can be more better according to your style. You can basically give your own style and stuff, sort of a small touch into your own this thing as well could be given. Okay, now this is what was there for today's class. Cool. Any doubts, anything that you guys want to me to repeat or so, you guys can ask so that I can just repeat it or so.